Tuesday. Kim Kesty here, Creative Director at Fun Steppers Journey. Spending really what is one of the favorite parts of my week with you. Every Tuesday afternoon we come and I just share some tools and tips and techniques, and that's why we call it T3. Today, if you read the description of our video, we are going to show one stamp set. In fact, it's a small stamp set, and I'm going to make 4 different cards with it. Well, I may not make all 4 cards all the way through, but I will show you 4 cards. Let's take a look at the stamp set we're talking about. This little stamp set is what we call our ATS stamp sets, which means it's what we kind of call an artist trading set. So it is a stamp that you could pick up, trade with somebody, have fun with. It also is the perfect size for creating artist trading cards. So if you're not familiar with those, you can look it up online. They're super fun. There's groups that trade them and they just have a blast. Well, this stamp set is not only small and mighty, it is also only one stamp. Like a lot of times our small little ATSs, I'm going to bring this one in here, I'm going to show you later. This is called Many Thanks. Now this has 5 different stamp sets on it. Still small, still the same little, powerful packaging, but this little guy is only virtually one stamp. This is what we call our love block. Super adorable. It was, in fact, one of our really, really popular ones from our Valentine release. We called this release Follow Your Heart. And I thought, you know what? This love block is not just for Valentine's. In fact, because of the super pretty floral on it, it really is quite springy. So I thought, you know what? We're going to bring this love block back to life and show you some really fun ways how to use it. So first of all, I'm going to grab some of my clear pigment ink. And for those of you who know me, they know that lately I have been on this kind of clear pigment and white embossing kick for a while. Now most of the time I use white embossing powder on black cardstock. And I love how that looks, especially for sentiments. It really pops up and looks amazing. But this time I'm going to bring in some colored cardstock and do white embossing on colors because, it just all can't be black cardstock. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this single stamp right in the center of my Summer Days cardstocks. This is a nice bright springy color. And then I am going to take my white embossing powder and sprinkle away here. One thing I didn't grab was my media tray, so I'm going to use this piece of cardstock to kind of dump it on. Tap it off a little bit. And now I can use this to put my powder back. I usually use my media tray, but I guess I didn't grab that today. Okay, so now we've got our little embossing powder on there, and it is all powdery until we have the magic of the heat gun brought in. So I have my Journey heat gun right there. I'm going to probably ask Roy to get in fairly close while I apply the heat to this, and it's going to be a little bit loud, so I'll try to talk over it. We're just going to go through and heat emboss all this powder, and what it does is the heat is going to make the embossing powder melt, and you'll see as it starts to turn color, it turns this really gorgeous white. And this stamp set, even though it's got a lot of detail, there we go, it's turning white, yay! The stamp set has so much precious detail to it. I love that it really pops with the embossing powder. You think you would lose some of the detail, but you really don't. And look at that E. Ah, so pretty. I'm going to continue on with all of my little letters here. And again, it does, once it starts melting fairly quickly because the gun kind of heats up, and then it goes pretty fast after that. So again, you want to keep your heat gun moving all the time. You don't want to leave it in one spot because it is hot enough to burn the paper. But you'd have to be pretty close and hold it for a pretty long time to do that. Okay, one more little corner here. Sometimes when I'm done embossing, I kind of like to hold it up. Sometimes I hold it up to the light a little bit and kind of make sure I haven't missed any spots. This guy looks pretty good. All right. So, it's adorable already, right? It is so much fun. Now, the joy of this stamp set is that it is so versatile. I have heard of people taking this actual stamp, and I'm going to peel it off here real quick, and cutting it apart, which you can do with rubber. We have craft shears, but you could cut these letters apart so you can use them a different way, perhaps line them up on a card or whatever. But in this case, I'm not going to cut my stamp, but rather I'm going to cut my cardstock. So what I'm going to do is I just want to right now capture my little L out of here. I want to keep all the little cute goodies around it, so I'm kind of cutting carefully, so I'm separating my L from the rest of mine. And then I'm just going to kind of go in and just quickly fussy cut around the edges. Now when you fussy cut, you can go as detailed and as close as you want. I kind of go what I consider maybe midstream. I'm not going super detailed. Hopefully this is not going all wacky out of focus on you. I'll try to hold it still. I like to leave just a little bit of the cardstock showing around the edge. So then I also don't have to be quite as accurate as if you were going, you know, super close to the stamped line. I'm just going to go around here. And also another tip which I've shared before is notice how my scissors are staying very still. I'm really not moving my right hand at all, but rather I'm kind of moving the paper and rotating the paper as you go. Look at those tiny little hearts in the corner. Are those not the cutest things? Oh my gosh, I love this stamp set. And this stamp set is actually, we were checking the numbers the other day talking about reordering it, because it is one of the ones that's been selling really well even after Valentine's Day, which is super cool. Okay, so I have my little L. Now, what is going to really add to the colorful quality of my cards, I've actually done the same exact technique with 3 more colors. So I've got my watermelon, I've got my turbo, and I've got my lemongrass. Now I'm going to take my watermelon, it doesn't really matter which one, but the whole fun of this card project is that once you have all 4 of these embossed, and you cut all the letters apart, so maybe you can just, you know, grab your favorite little chair and your beverage or cup of coffee or whatever, and just sit and fussy cut all the letters, which is what you are going to want to do eventually. But right now I'm just going to take the O out of the watermelon. And this one will go pretty fast because it's an O. It's pretty easy. But eventually at some point the idea is that you want to cut all of the letters out of all 4 colors. And then remember I promised you 4 different cards? Well, now you're kind of getting the idea. That's exactly how we're going to create 4 different cards, because we're stamping this 4 times on 4 different colors of cardstock. Yeah? Sound like a plan? Okay, so now I also have the V already cut out in the green, so I kind of shortcut it. And then I'm going to quickly do the E out of the blue. Should have done the E ahead of time too, right guys? I bet you're super excited to just watch me fussy cut for about 5 minutes. But I do want to know what card projects you're working on. We have a fun event coming up for Fun Stampers Journey on Friday. It's a free online video. I hope that a lot of you can join us. It's broadcasting at 3 o'clock Arizona time. And we're going to spend about 2 hours with you crafting and having fun and launching our brand new set of projects, or products I should say, which is called Easy Breezy Spring. So super fun if you want to be here Friday. So I will not be doing our Tri-Day Friday this Friday, because we're going to be live for a whole 2 hours. So actually it's going to be a lot of Tri-Day Fridays, right guys? So leave a comment with what you're working on if you've got something super fun going on. Okay, like I said, I would continue, you know, with all the different letters, but right now I have a good start because I have L-O-V-E, 1 of each color. Love that. Okay, now I'm going to grab this white that I had earlier as I used for my embossing. And this is going to be a super simple card base. Use my crease tool and give myself a nice crease there. And these letters are actually going to go straight on this card base. I'm not going to do any additional mat or anything like that. I think that's just fine how we've got this little start here. So I've got Pool Play, and I've got one of our large daubers. And you've probably seen me do this technique before too. I just grab some Pool Play ink, kind of brush a little off, make sure there's not too much. And I'm just going to give myself a nice little kind of cloudy blue area. And this is going to go behind the letters. Be super fun. It doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be, you know, exactly in the center or an even shape or anything. You just want to kind of have fun with this. It's just supposed to be a little glow behind your letters. I think that's enough. And then to add a little bit more texture to this guy, I'm gonna grab our Cool Pool silk. And so this will be fun, just add a few little kind of sprinkles of color behind there. Now the silk does have a lot of the really yummy metallic. You can see it's kind of at the bottom of that jar there. So I do like to shake it up a little bit. Make sure that's all mixed in. Sometimes you warm it up with your hand a little bit. It's not like it's cold here, right, Ray? It's like getting to be springtime in Phoenix. I'm telling you, it's warming up. So you can see that you don't need a lot of silk. You just need a few little sprinkles. And it does dry a little bit lighter than when it first, goes on. So super fun. Now I'm going to grab my foam dots and just come in here with a few dots on each letter. I don't even know that I'll necessarily dot them all because I do have a card that's already finished for you. But the basic idea is you're going to add your L and your O. You're going to pop these all up. And your V and your E, and you could just stop there, but I did show you this stamp set earlier, so I wanted to show you one more tip for getting even more mileage out of your stamp sets. I'm going to take this thank you stamp, which of course has both words, and I don't want it to say thank you, of course, but I'm going to stamp it out and then just cut away the U. Now I'm like, where's my black ink? Here it is. I'm going to ink it up, and then I'm going to fussy cut the U out so I can just have the word U. Just kind of quickly show you. So even though this stamp says thank you, think outside the box a little bit and get a little bit extra mileage out of your sets. I love mixing and matching stamp sets and sentiments. I'll often stamp them and cut them apart. I think it's so fun. If you guys have a special set that you like to do this to you, again, leave it in the comments. I want to hear your sets that you like to stamp apart, trim apart. Again, you don't have to be super fussy with this fussy cutting. Maybe go down into the U a little bit. All right, so the idea is then you can mount this, a little bit lower. These guys could move up a little bit. If I'm gonna add the U, I'd probably move these up just a smidge. Foam dot those and then pop the U. How cute, right? Just sweet and simple and coming to life. I'm like, my L's crooked. Okay, let's show you the finished one because it's all done and it's all adhered. And you don't have to watch me put foam squares on. So here's the finished one. So isn't that adorable? I just love how the LOVE pop in all those different colors. Even though they're all white embossed, they have so much more character now that they have all these different colors behind them. Absolutely love how that turned out. Okay, so now we would take our next set of letters. So this time, we would have the opposite colors of what's on here. I went ahead and grabbed a Turbo Teal card base. And this time I grabbed one of our heart film dies. I think I showed a lot of these film dies the other day. So this one is our heart film die. So much fun. Just pops out, and then the center heart you can cut or you can leave solid. In this case, I cut it out. So this just adds a really sweet, another layer. If I had all of my letters cut out, which I don't, you could just kind of layer these guys all up. This time I want to say hello. So I'd grab this fun little mini greetings, which by the way is another one of our ATS stamps. Such a good value. This little guy has 15 different stamp sets on it. I just love it. So all these tiny little greetings, which are perfect for tags or little accents on your cards. In this case, I'm going to use the hello. So let me show you the finished project for that guy. And you can see all my different letters. So check it out. So not Valentine-y really at all, even though we've got the heart action. We've got a little bit of our polka dot washi tape. Love using washi tape for accents. So I've got that along the bottom of the card. And again, you can see how my LOVE is in different cardstock colors with a little hello. So fun. Okay, so let me show you one more where I've added this little frame it die set. This is actually from one of our Christmas sets. And again, get extra mileage out of your dies, guys. It's so much fun. So this guy you can use for obviously not just Christmas, but the one die I love in here in particular is the one that looks like a little stamp, and that's this one right here. So this is perfect for the next card I did. And here it is. This time we've gone with the summer days. And again, use all those same colors that you've used with your letters, and your card is going to be no fail. Everything is going to match. So you can see the little stamps that we've cut out behind there. So cute. And again, our LOVE and yet another color path. And I've got one more to show you, and this time we've popped up the LOVE on a really sweet embossing folder. So this is our heart. Oh yeah, there we go. Catch a little shadow there. See the fun heart wall embossing folder back there? So cute. And then again, just popped up the LOVE on foam dots. And wow, what do you guys think? Do you love this idea? I have to say that is quite a powerful card set from one little stamp, the Love Block stamp. Now I have a feeling I'm going to have to go back to our project managers and say, I'm pretty sure we're going to have to reorder this Love Block stamp set after everyone sees these adorable cards. So super fun. I hope that you loved that. I hope that you learned a few little tips and techniques on today's T3. And again, please share with us and tag us at Fun Stampers Journey. We would love to see your projects as you bring paper to life.